Let's run a brutal psychological experiment right now. I will look deep inside your daily life, and you will honestly tell me if I am right. You earn significantly more money than 80% of the ordinary people living in your entire city right now. Walking past you on these very streets, you casually order premium food delivery without even bothering to look at the total price. You confidently hold the newest, most expensive iPhone in your hands today. You confidently drive a premium German car that instantly causes deep, toxic envy among all your old high school friends everywhere you go in the city. On the outside, you clearly appear to be the absolute physical embodiment of modern financial success and the ultimate expression of untouchable social power. But let us slowly, without any illusions, open your private banking application and deeply analyze the actual terrifying numbers hiding right there behind the glowing screen. Exactly 3 days remain until your next highly anticipated paycheck, and your main checking account currently holds absolutely pathetic, miserable little pennies that cannot save you. You would never dare admit this to anyone alive. But deep inside you lives a sticky, freezing, deeply paralyzing dark fear that constantly haunts you. You already know the brutal, undeniable truth. If you unexpectedly lose your corporate job tomorrow morning, you simply cannot pay your absolutely massive, expensive monthly bills. Now, in exactly 3 short months, you will face complete, devastating, irreversible bankruptcy and lose absolutely everything you currently claim to own in this fragile life. You desperately and falsely believe that earning just a little bit more money next year will magically make this terrible, suffocating financial fear completely disappear forever. That is undeniably the greatest, most destructive, and pathetic lie of your entire modern existence. I know the root of your psychological problem very well. I also know exactly how to surgically fix it right now. But you will absolutely hate the cold, ruthless, and highly uncomfortable solution I offer today. Welcome to the beautiful, invisible premium poverty trap. You are not the successful middle class you claim to be. You are an elite, highly paid, dressed up beggar. What constantly happens to your mind is clinically called a limbic hijack by the most elite leading behavioral economists operating around the modern financial world today. Your primitive biological brain is much smarter than you realize. Your logical prefrontal cortex completely understands the vital mathematical importance of investing and saving capital. But your highly educated logical mind remains entirely powerless because your ancient, impulsive animal brain currently rules every single financial decision of your entire life. Your primitive limbic system fundamentally does not care about boring compound interest. It violently demands immediate, undeniable social status right this very second without any delay. Ruthless corporate marketers know you secretly fear looking like a massive loser, so they continuously sell you psychological painkillers through highly toxic, expensive bank credit. Look closely at your absolutely ridiculous monthly expenses. A massive prestige mortgage violently consumes 40% of your hard-earned monthly income just to impress absolute strangers today. You proudly financed a brand new German luxury crossover vehicle using an absolutely terrible, financially devastating bank loan interest rate just to look highly successful. Psychologically speaking, you deeply suffer from a massive, blinding illusion of complete control regarding your current personal financial life and your incredibly fragile future. You honestly, foolishly think you own that beautiful, expensive car, but the ruthless bank actually owns every single heavy metal piece sitting in your driveway. You merely rent the pathetic right to post flashy steering wheel photos online, permanently paying for this cheap validation with your own stolen financial future. This is Parkinson's law operating in its absolute purest, most brutal form, where your rising luxury expenses always perfectly match your entire monthly corporate income. You finally receive a nice corporate bonus, and your greedy primitive brain instantly finds a highly visible, incredibly expensive status application to waste it on. You confidently upgrade your entire premium lifestyle, but in cold reality, you are just blindly upgrading the golden bars of your own invisible prison cell. You are entirely helplessly trapped on a vicious hedonic treadmill, running endlessly at full speed without ever actually moving forward a single meaningful financial inch. To successfully maintain your dangerously artificial dopamine levels, you must continuously consume significantly more expensive luxury things much faster than you ever did before today. Your true absolute net worth is practically zero when you finally dare to look past the beautiful, highly polished marble exterior facade you desperately built. If we forcefully sell all your precious luxury items and pay your massive debts, absolutely nothing of actual lasting financial value remains in your hands. You are just a completely hollow financial ghost currently wearing a perfectly tailored designer suit and incredibly expensive imported Italian leather shoes on your feet. Impotent, completely useless financial advisors will aggressively tell you to stop buying your daily morning coffee, which is absolutely complete and utter distracting garbage nonsense. A simple, cheap cup of coffee does not suddenly make you poor, but your incredibly fragile, deeply insecure consumer identity certainly ruins your life completely. Right now, you perfectly embody the pathetic identity of a blind consumer, acting as a simple biological filter for massive, relentlessly greedy global monopoly corporations. They quietly and effortlessly pump digital money from the central bank directly through your highly stressed nervous system straight into their hidden offshore bank accounts. You are essentially just a temporary human pipe, where money briefly enters on payday and violently bleeds out into massive, brightly lit premium shopping malls. You must completely commit brutal psychological suicide and let your current weak consumer version die forever to finally become an elite, untouchable, modern capital allocator. An elite, highly disciplined capital allocator does not ever buy shiny new luxury things. They strictly and aggressively purchase absolute financial freedom in raw time. For them, real money is never just a simple plastic credit card foolishly used to pay for heavily overpriced premium meals at fancy downtown restaurants. For a true capital allocator, every single newly earned dollar is a highly trained, ruthless mercenary carefully sent out into the incredibly dangerous modern financial world. The ultimate, uncompromising mission of this elite dollar is to violently capture other competing dollars and bring them straight back into your heavily fortified personal treasury. When you foolishly purchase overpriced designer sneakers for $500, you literally take your best, most loyal soldiers and brutally slaughter them on the spot. You brutally and willingly murder your entire financial army just to make completely random strangers on the street secretly think you are incredibly successful today. True, unshakable real wealth is absolutely never what you can clearly see loudly parked inside your expensive, brightly lit, deeply mortgaged modern suburban home garage. It is the heavy, invisible portfolio of global index funds that ultimately makes you completely, utterly bulletproof against the unpredictable demands of your highly toxic boss. True wealth is absolute, unbreakable silence, deep personal security, and the terrifying, God-like ultimate power to simply look at the system and say no forever. To violently stop this fatal financial bleeding, you must ruthlessly implement the Cold Obsidian Protocol today without making absolutely any pathetic, weak personal compromises whatsoever. These are exactly 3 dark, highly advanced psychological tricks specifically designed to violently hack your completely broken, consumer-driven nervous system back into cold, harsh reality. Rule number 1 is ruthless asymmetric camouflage, completely destroying that pathetic human psychological bug where ordinary people constantly judge your worth by your highly visible success. You must immediately choose to become totally financially invisible to society, intentionally looking significantly poorer than what your massive bank accounts can actually comfortably afford today. Quietly purchase a remarkably boring, perfectly reliable, everyday car and immediately start wearing basic, minimalist black shirts, completely devoid of any expensive, screaming designer logos. Why exactly do we do this unusual thing? Because it instantly creates a genius, impenetrable psychological filter that perfectly protects your growing capital from societal parasites. When you aggressively strip away all that toxic status garbage, you successfully kill your deeply pathetic, lifelong psychological addiction to absolutely meaningless, fleeting public approval. Your loudly starving, fragile ego finally stops feeding on cheap external validation and eagerly begins furiously eating the beautifully compounding mathematical investment numbers instead today. True, incredibly dangerous, untouchable power never actually needs bright, glowing neon signs to violently announce its massive, intimidating presence when walking into crowded corporate rooms. Rule number 2 is absolute, unyielding income encapsulation, deliberately creating a deeply powerful psychological effect of permanent, highly aggressive, and strictly enforced artificial financial scarcity. Your incredibly greedy, highly impulsive biological animal brain constantly and predictably spends exactly the total amount of available money it currently sees inside your checking account. Therefore, you must forcefully and brutally trick your own fragile mind by permanently freezing your current comfortable lifestyle standard, starting from this exact decisive very second. If your highly demanding corporate boss significantly increases your monthly salary tomorrow, you simply cannot ever spend a single extra shiny penny of it anywhere. You must forcefully build an absolutely indestructible massive concrete wall, perfectly dividing your daily living account and your endlessly compounding, untouchable long-term wealth capital today. You must completely automate your aggressive investments today so that the new money permanently leaves your primary account the exact unpredictable second it finally arrives. Your greedy limbic brain must truly and constantly believe you are still terribly underpaid while you silently, secretly build massive generational financial abundance in the shadows. Rule number 3 is absolute dopamine capitalization, completely and violently hacking the exact biological chemical loops inside your brain that consistently keep you terribly broke. Whenever your trembling, eager hands desperately itch to buy a shiny new premium gadget, do not ever foolishly rely on your incredibly weak, exhausted willpower alone. Strict mental prohibitions absolutely never work in our harsh reality. They only directly lead to devastating psychological breakdowns and massive, uncontrollable, highly destructive weekend spending binges. Instead, you must immediately implement a brutal, highly effective cognitive reframing trick, commonly known among elite capital allocators as the uncompromising strict financial mirror trade. Do you passionately and desperately want a brand new $3,000 premium laptop? That is perfectly fine, but you must strictly follow the iron rule. First, before buying anything, you are absolutely obligated to violently purchase exactly $3,000 of Apple corporate stock directly on the open financial market. Do you intensely desire those incredibly expensive, trendy brand sneakers today? First, aggressively buy identical financial shares of that exact same massive global corporate brand. This cold, highly calculated mental trick instantly freezes your hot, impulsive limbic system, permanently forcing deep logical analysis over cheap, fleeting emotional chemical highs every time. Through this, you forcefully transition from being a foolish, desperate gambler, constantly losing plastic chips, into the cold, calculating, wealthy owner of the entire massive casino. Now, I want you to aggressively look around your highly expensive apartment at all the beautiful, useless things you foolishly bought just for fake social significance. Absolutely none of these shiny premium objects ever made you truly financially free or deeply mentally peaceful in this ruthless, hyper-competitive, incredibly dangerous modern world. Instead, they simply chained you incredibly tightly to your stressful corporate desk and systematically made you permanently fear waking up to face another terrifying tomorrow morning. You tragically and willingly traded your one single precious biological life for cold plastic, heavy polished metal, and absolutely meaningless, entirely fake external social approval. You desperately and pathetically sought deep psychological validation from completely random, entirely indifferent people who genuinely do not care about your personal existence or your struggles. I want you to stare intensely at the glowing screen of your expensive new smartphone right now and carefully look at your current pathetic bank balance. Answer this one final, deeply haunting philosophical question with maximum uncompromising, brutal honesty right now before this digital screen suddenly turns completely pitch black forever. Do you truly, honestly believe that you still completely control your own personal life today? Or does your massive, suffocating financial debt completely own you?